Hey guys, what's going on? This is Bad Fish coming at you with another episode of Gone Gaming. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the beautiful city of San Pedro, my current ongoing Cities Skylines playthrough based off of the American West Coast. Welcome. First, some housekeeping things before I go into what you guys are seeing on screen. I did start a Instagram, so if you guys want to check that out, I usually post screenshots of different angles of the builds that might not make it for like the screenshot that I use for the thumbnail. So that is going to be badfish9454 on Instagram if you want to check that out. But anyway, today guys, what we are doing is we are, as probably you know from the title and thumbnail, building out a racetrack. So this is something I wanted to try out for a while now. I think for an American city, it's pretty apropos, and it is a cool build. I think it's just, I really like doing things that are kind of out of the confines of the traditional game with builds. I like doing things that are a little bit weird. So I thought this one was pretty cool, and there's some great assets on the workshop to help out with it. So right now you saw me build out the first grandstand as well as the base layout of the track. So I'm basing off like IndyCar / Nascar series kind of tracks. So it is more oval shaped, but I didn't want it to be a perfect oval, so it's kind of oblong and a little shifted. It looks like this, I can't remember the exact name, but it's a track in South Carolina, I believe. I kind of looked at that track's layout and tried to copy that a little bit. Right now too, you'll see me, I got this little pit stop. It's like an F1 pit stop, pit garage kind of deal. We're going to be using that for our pits and just kind of bracing it with these cool little dividers and things like that. But yeah, I thought for a American city, a NASCAR stadium, a NASCAR track would be pretty cool. I think once it's all said and done, it looks really unique and really plays well with the city and just adds a good amount of detail. Right now, what you'll see me doing is I'm just adding in all my different barriers and stuff so cars don't go careening into the pits and, hurting a lot of people. You don't want that. So just trying to keep it safe and divided and all that good stuff. One thing I will say as a disclaimer though, guys, I am not a motorsports person. So, take that for what it's worth. So it's not going to be like a full-on one-to-one scale build of a NASCAR track. I'm doing my best. I like playing Cities Skylines and I like building things, so that's why I took this on. So just know I'm not like 1000% the person that's super into motorsports. So if you see things that I could have done differently or added, definitely call me out on it. I love hearing from people who know what they're talking about. I know there's a lot of people out there who really like NASCAR and really like motorsports. So if you see things I could do differently next time or add on, or maybe just the barriers are in the wrong place, let me know. But right now what I'm doing is building out our infield. So I added another grandstand, and then what I wanted to do here is a lot of NASCAR and racetracks in general will have places for campers / RVs to go and park and kind of tailgate during the race. So I thought that was a cool little addition. I thought it would be a cool thing to add here, and I already had a bunch of campers from when I built the national park a bunch of episodes back. So I decided to use those different props. I had to get the spacing right a little bit so there wasn't 1,000 of them and they weren't all on top of each other so they could actually maneuver in and out. But I think once we get to the final product, it looks all right. So yeah, I just wanted to have these campers in here, and then I'm going to start putting down some different props for them. So we're going to kind of cut through the props because basically what I do is I do a couple different variations and then I'll use Move It to copy and paste them. So here's the first variation right here. So just a couple of chairs, an umbrella, a grill. We're going to pop those on a couple different ones. And then the next variation right here, we are building, just a table and chairs, another umbrella. Keeping it simple, putting some other chairs down. And then the next variation is going to be these tents, which are actually going to change around because I really didn't like these tents. So you'll see that change later in the video. And then, of course, another little one with some hammocks and another grill and all that good stuff. So I just wanted to make it look like, people were camping. I didn't want all of them to be the same, but I also didn't want each one to be unique because I would have driven myself insane trying to prop those out and make each one look different completely. So I just kind of used different variations to give it that semblance of diversity with the props. So now what we're going to be doing is doing our truck parking for, the trucks and the trailers that actually bring the cars in. So if you've seen the movie Cars, this is Lightning McQueen's best friend, the truck that he falls out of. This is where he sleeps. So we're going to put down just some different guard posts. These are actually lifeguard posts, but I thought they worked fine for little guard posts here. And then these big old trucks, we are going to add in, later I do get some F1 trucks that are actually built for like bringing cars from place to place. Obviously that's not NASCAR, but I thought it would just be fun to add a couple of those in. So we do delete a few of these and just add in that different variation with the F1 trucks and trailers. Again, just because, it's still a racing prop. Obviously it's not comparable to NASCAR, but I just liked it. And sometimes with the assets you can find, you just got to work with what you can get, right? So now what we're going to be doing is just a little bit of landscaping here. So you are going to see me putting trees and landscaping items on the infield. That was a bad move by me. Bad move by Badfish over there. So the reason it's a bad move is obviously you want people to be able to see the whole track from the stands, and having a bunch of trees in the way is not great. It's just not a good look. So I do end up deleting those and moving them to the outside in a little while, just because I, again, just wanted people in the stands to be able to view as much of the track as possible from their seats, as well as, obviously camera crews. If you're thinking if this is going to be televised, you want it to be pretty easy for them to follow the cars around and not have a bunch of trees in the way. So moving forward, we're just working on the entrance here. I did take out the part where I built the parking lots, because if you follow my channel, you've seen me build about 1,000 parking lots by this point. You know the drill. It's just putting down the roads and the decals, all it is. So entryway, I didn't want to do anything crazy, just putting down some palm trees because it is San Pedro, with some bushes on the bottom just to add a little bit more pop of color and all that good stuff. And now we're going to start working on the pit itself in a little bit more detail, as well as adding the actual car props that I picked up. So I apologize because I don't have the creator's name in front of me right now, but someone out there created some really cool NASCAR props. They're kind of a mixture of actual brands with bigger YouTubers, as far as Cities Skylines YouTubers. So I know like King Leno's in there, I think Skibbith's in there, and all that good stuff. So there's a couple different people with those props in there, which I thought was pretty cool. Good homage. So I just wanted to put in some cars. You saw me kind of put the starting line down. I did that for as many prop cars as I had, and then I was like, that doesn't look like enough. So I added some more, and we're gonna have to repeat cars a little bit in the starting lines, but it is what it is. It happens. So just throwing down cars there in the starting line, and then we did put some in the pits. So now we're going to actually put the tools in the pits here. So we got some shelves and some little toolboxes and lockers and cool stuff like that. So we're just going to start designing out a bunch of the different pits. A lot of the stuff is going to be placed in the same place, and then I realized that looks way too copy and pasty, so I do move it around a little bit and try to add a little bit of variation to each little pit stop. So we do, like I said, have some with cars, some not. So in a second here, you're going to see me put workers down. The one with cars get the workers who are all doing stuff. The one without cars get the workers who are like looking at their phones or just like looking up into the sky. So here we go. Gonna put some workers down, getting, looking at the cars and make it look like they're actually doing stuff. The guys with nothing to do are just kind of lounging around, hanging. And then the guys that do have things to do, I wanted to have like actionable poses. So these are just prop workers, by the way. They're static. They ain't going anywhere. But, for better or worse, for screenshots, for me, they look good. If you just sit there watching them, it's a little jarring because they don't move. And now, like I said, I'm just moving those trees to the outside of the track, not the inside. And here is those F1 trucks I was talking about. So again, I know it's not, NASCAR and F1 are not the same thing. I'm very aware of that. I have watched Top Gear religiously, at least until they got rid of the good hosts. So I just wanted to add them in because I thought they were really cool assets. I thought they were really well made and well done, and they are racing trucks. So instead of just only having typical cargo trucks as a placeholder for the racing trucks, I thought let's add some actual racing trucks too. And I didn't do it all racing trucks. I have them mixed in. And then here I'm just replacing those tents because I thought they looked a little garish against some of the campers. And these ones that I picked up actually looked like they could be like sunsetters coming off of the RVs themselves. So they're actually attached, which looks a little bit better to my eye. So that's just that. And then now, this was my biggest mistake during this entire thing. So first of all, guys, little disclaimer about me. I have horrendous handwriting, some of the worst you will ever see. And that translates very well into writing things in video games or on MS Paint. So I decided to put this down. I spent way too much time trying to make it look good, so I just cut all of it because I didn't even want to look at it again. But here is the San Pedro Speedway sign spelled out for you. It looks pretty, looks great. It took me 2 hours. But, you know, moving on. And now I'm going to just put down some billboards and stuff just to, you know, have the advertising commercial game represented. So just putting down some banners and some big billboards and stuff. I didn't overdo it with them, just enough to, you know, show that we got some sponsors for the track. Again, like this, it doesn't look like the biggest track in the world. So I'm not pretending that this is like the Daytona 500. It's just a track that some people race on. Because actually in America you will see local racetracks too. I don't know if they'd be to this scale or if this one does look more like a professional one, but I think it's kind of somewhere in the middle. And then I'm just lighting it up as much as I can. Obviously it's not fully lit, but I wanted to get at least the corners lit and the curves. And we're going to just finish out by putting down some more lights and decals, guys. So I am going to go ahead and let the music play out for the rest of this, but I hope you enjoy the time lapse. I'll see you on the other end for the live play. Enjoy. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's time lapse. Welcome to the racetrack. I hope you enjoyed the bit of motion sickness you got from all that jumping around, but I think we ended up with something pretty cool. So this is our little IndyCar, NASCAR raceway. As I probably said in the time lapse, I am not a gigantic motorsports person, so if it's not exactly one-to-one scale, I apologize, but I think we got some cool elements in here that made for a really fun Skylines build. So let's take a look at what we got. So coming through here, obviously we just have the parking, which is finally getting some use because I hid a bunch of parks all through here. So it actually looks like people are going in and using this, even though we're not seeing them up here per se. But this is just kind of our entrance. It's pretty simple. It just had some palm trees and stuff in the parking lots. And then I'm using the same stadium stuff I used for when I built this stadium, the football stadium over here. So same kind of bleachers, only having them set up here. I looked at a couple different NASCAR, I guess, tracks when I was building this. So I looked at, there's one in like South Carolina. I looked at Loudon. I looked at, I forget the name of the other one, but I looked at a few and kind of came up with this shape. I didn't want it to be a perfect oval, so I kind of like this oblong shape we got going on. I think it's fun. I wanted to add actually some more roads going through here, so if there's different kinds of races going on, they had some more turns and stuff like that. But for some reason, every time I tried to put an intersection on this road, it just turned into the blue void of oblivion that you sometimes get in this game. So that didn't quite work out. But going through here, for some reason, there's a cop going. Get him, buddy. Coming through here, we have our little pit. So I'm using these really cool NASCAR props. Some of them are just typical NASCAR stuff. Some of them are actually named after different YouTubers. I found these on the workshop. I think they're pretty great. So we have our little pit stops here with the pit crews going to work on some of the cars. I did have to repeat some of the cars just to add a little bit more, but here's our little starting section with the cars lined up, ready to go. Again, some of them are in the pit. Some of the guys at the pit are just waiting around, looking at their phones, whatever. And we got some cool little tools and stuff here. So if you go in, you can see like this guy's looking at tools. This guy's got his legs chopped off, but is still working. And this guy is phasing through the bumper. But they're doing great work. So that is the kind of the starting area in the pit. Then of course we just have the lights kind of lining the curves and everything, and some different ads going around here. And then I did build this out. This took way too long, but hopefully it looks okay, where it just says San Pedro Speedway. It looks better from a distance than it does up close. I did In the time lapse, if you saw, I did add some trees on the inside. I realized that'd be pretty stupid to do, simply because people need to see the track. That's what they're coming here for. So I took away the trees on the inside and only put them on the outside now. And then over here we have our trailers. Presumably these are the trailers that bring the actual race cars to the track. So I did mix in some F1 trailers because I found an F1 pack on the workshop, just because I really like the look of them, and they're actual racing trailers. Obviously they're not comparable to NASCAR in any way, but you know, we work with what we have, and I think they're just fun. I think they look a little bit cleaner than, you know, just our cargo ones, but it's whatever. We mixed them through. I think that looks fine. Definitely, you know, from a distance it looks fine. So we do have these ones kind of mixed in with the typical trailers. And then over on the other side over here, this is where we are doing our little camper site. So our infield, where people will go and camp out and tailgate while watching the race. So we have a whole bunch of campers. I put some trash cans and stuff down for them, and we did some different stuff with the props. So some of them got grills and hammocks and stuff. Some of them just have tents. Some of them have chairs, just to kind of mix it up and not make it look too copy and pasted. So that's that little run right there. And again, coming through, we just got some more ads and stuff, and then just like the barriers with the tires and everything. But that is the build here today, guys. So I think it came out pretty good. I'm excited for race day whenever that comes. I actually can make these operable if I wanted to, but only with F1 cars as buses. So maybe I'll do that and take a screenshot of it someday and post it. But for now, I just want to keep the NASCAR assets on there since it is an American city. But I think it looks fun with everything else kind of juxtaposed against it. I think it's another cool thing to add into this space and into this town. So now we're a big sports town. Apparently we have our stadium over here, we got some golf going on, we got our big old racetrack. But let me know what you guys thought of the build. I thought it was a kind of a unique and fun one. Definitely let me know your opinion. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up down below. I really appreciate that. And if you're into Cities Skylines and want to see some more detailed builds and stuff like that, definitely subscribe to my channel. I typically post like 3 to 4 times a week, and it's always I try at least to make different cool builds like this. But again, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.